welcome. What's up, Toddy? How you feeling today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. This is our first day of the next 90 days. I'm super excited. We're talking about how we're gonna help 90 deals get done in this wholesale and real estate space. Toddy, can you tell them a little bit of what we got in store for the people?
Yeah, so for the next 90 days, we're going to be going on live every day, Monday through Friday, and we want to help 90 deals get done. So if you have 90 deals, that could be you. If there's 90 people out there, we can help 90 people get deals done. Or if one person has 10, whatever, however it gets broken down, we want to help 90 deals get done. We're going to be doing this in so many different ways. We're going to help you guys with everything from lead gen, marketing, sales. We have something for everyone, literally, dispo, whatever stage you guys are at in your deals. This is a place for you to hop on and get real time help with your deals. We'll JV deals with you if you guys need help finding a buyer, locking a seller up, whatever the case may be. We're here. We're here to help the community actually get deals done. We're taking this time out of our very busy lives and very busy businesses to give. So we both read The Go Giver a few times, and we recently went to an event and had some revelations. So I'm gonna let you tell them what your revelations were and why we're even doing this right now.
Man, it's crazy because the more most people think, the more you receive, the more you take is the more you receive, when that's completely wrong, right? Like, complete opposite. We want to give, and that's what we're here for, right? We were actually talking the other day, and we were listening to something, and the guy was like, "The fruit is never for the tree, right? It's not for the tree. It's for people who come up to the tree, pick it, and eat the fruit and get full off the fruit, right? So we're here to serve the community, right? Because we know the more you serve, the more we're fulfilled, right? Like, we don't care about doing these deals for ourselves. We care about helping other people do deals, right? Helping 90 people get their first deal. We were at that event. Somebody actually came up to us and he said he got his first 5 deals from just watching my content on YouTube, right? And that's what fulfills me, right? That's why we want to do this. That's why we want to come out here 90's next 90 days and just provide as much value as possible. What about you, Toddy?
So I guess mine's a little more selfish. No. Um Honestly, I just feel like every time I go live, I have so many people that need so much help, and one live never is enough. I could tell you, oh, go to this software and do this, or comp this way, or do this, but I'm never able to really show anyone unless they're in my mentorship. And I understand that there's a big barrier of entry, like in any business, especially real estate, where like if you want to get the knowledge, you got to pay thousands of dollars, and not everybody has that. So I thought it would be really cool to create a space where people could come, ask questions, get help, but make it a regular thing so they know, like, okay, I have this going on in my deal right now. I know that if I go tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Toddy and Daryl are going to help me. So even if it's just pointing you in the right direction, or if it's comping a deal, it doesn't matter what it is, or if it's serious help with the deal, like you need someone to help you get under contract, you need someone to help you sell it. I just want to be more of a resource. And like you said, the more we give, the more we receive. I remember when I kind of first started making content and helping people, I used to go live a lot for a long time, and it got really, really draining, but I did help a lot of people. So I want to kind of get back into that spirit, and now I have help, so it won't be the same. And I think me and you have really different specialties, I guess you could say, or skill sets that we could really help each other. You just with the closing and the creative and everything you're really good at, and then me on the dispo and the lead gen side and the marketing. So I think combined, we probably are some of the best people, just not to be like sound cocky or anything, but like some of the best people can get help and advice from. So we've both done a ton of deals, and I'd rather you guys go get help from someone who's actually done a lot of deals and knows how this goes than, someone that's just trying to make a dollar. So this is free for everyone
Hold on,
every night
what?
through Friday.
We're
Just
not
come over
charging.
here and get help.
We're not charging for this.
We're only charging likes and comments.
I
So
love it.
like,
Love it.
comment if you guys are liking this, drop some fire emojis and let us know you guys are here and you're awake and you want some help getting some deals done.
Let's go. So I'm curious, Toddy. For everybody, so like let's say I'm brand new, right? I've never done a deal. I haven't even done anything with real estate yet. I've just been just watching YouTube videos. What would you tell me to do to get my first deal in these next 30, 45 days? With it, shoot, in 90, these next 90 days, what would you tell me my first step is to get a deal?
Well, my first question would be like, how much money do you have to work with?
Good question. I have $500.
$500 is good. So if I started with $400, so if I had $500, what I would do is, depending on where I lived, so if I lived somewhere that had a healthy real estate market and it wasn't nothing crazy like Las Vegas, New York, Miami. If I lived somewhere in Texas or Georgia where I knew, okay, a lot of deals are getting done, there's a lot of investment activity, the first thing I would do is I would go find out what is the hottest zip code or the second hottest zip code where hundreds of deals are getting done in my market. When you find that zip code, I would just go straight for absentee owners. So I'll go on propwire.com, which gets a free leads list. If you guys haven't heard of PropWire, Jerry Norton came out with that. It's 100% free. I'll go on PropWire. I like PropStream, but now there's a free version. So like I would say save money. Go on PropWire, download 10,000 leads, skip trace it. And then now the next question would be, are you someone who's always on the move, or are you someone who is able to sit down at home in front of a computer? Because if you're able to sit down, I would get an auto dialer. If you're not able to sit down, I would get an app. It's $40 a year and it's called Go Dial. And that turns your cell phone into an auto dialer. So I would take my 10,000 contacts, skip trace them on kindskiptracing.com, $300 for 10,000. That's the minimum. So that's simple. Now you've spent $300. Now with the $40, I would get Go Dial, or with $150, I would get a dialer. I always would say prefer an auto dialer, just because it makes so much more sense as a CRM. But Go Dial is cool too. You just have to manually click next dial, next dial. From there, I would get a script from a sniper like you or someone like me, someone who's been doing deals and has a script that works. And there's so many free script downloads out there, guys. I'll even drop one in the comments. And I would just start talking to sellers. That's it. I would just focus on having good quality conversations. And I'm saying this whole thing because this is exactly what I did. And I would just talk to sellers until I found a deal. If I could find a buyer, I'd find the buyer. And if not, I'd find a wholesaler in that market that could help me sell it and JV with them and make my money and build out my team.
I love that. I love that. So let's rewind to get the steps one more time for people. So step number one is go to propwire.com and download a list of absentee owners, you said?
Yep, 10,000 absentee owners in the hottest or second hottest zip code. And you can combine them. If there's only like 1,000 leads in the hottest zip code, I would add the top 5 hottest zip codes, whatever it takes to get that 10,000. That's what I would do, absentee owners.
How do you know what the hottest zip code is?
So all you have to do is actually go on PropWire, PropStream, whatever you're using. Look up cash sales. Right now, I would do in the past 90 days because the market has changed a lot. Look up all the sales in the past 90 days. And it's super no-brainer when you look at the map. You can just see like giant clusters of areas where everyone's buying. Just zoom in, and just go with the top couple areas. And that's the easiest way to do it. If you want to go real deep and pull that list or look it up on PropStream, organize it by zip code and count how many are in each zip code, like you can do that too. That's what I do because I'm just like obsessed with data. But the easiest way is just to look at where the clusters of cash buyers are in that map. And I don't know if I can share my screen, but I can show you.
You can. If you actually click the present where it says like a little square with the plus at the bottom.
Okay, so
let me show
you because that's what this whole thing is for, is to show. We're in Texas too. Texas is one of my major markets. I love Texas.
It's actually crazy that that now you can get free lists, like literally free lists. I know I had to pay $100 a month. I had to save up when I started to get PropStream, that $100 a month. And
seriously, everyone needs to seriously thank Jerry Norton because this is like unheard of and it's like amazing because you can get so many leads. Yeah, you have to pay for skip tracing, but do you guys know that the PropStream 50,000 leads a month costs me $650 a month? This just reduced that to $0.
It's game
Like,
changer.
I'm literally paying, like, half a daycare now with that, so it's a big game changer, and I'm really appreciative of it because, like, you guys know, budgeting and marketing is really, a big part of this. If you can't market for months on end, if you don't have the budget for that, you can't be in the game. So, all you gotta do is look up your city, click cash buyers, and then you can clearly see, like, there's areas where absolutely no one's buying. So I would zoom in and I'm trying to find neighborhood pockets. So starting from here, I can see clearly there's a bunch right here. This is a good pocket, it looks like. This is a good pocket, it looks like. This is a good pocket, it looks like. And then you see there's nothing here, so I would definitely not pull a list here. And then if you want to find out what zip code it is, all you have to do is click on one of them and you'll see. So what I would do, even, there's 25,000 cash buyer results. You can even use the draw tool and draw. The funny thing is, cash buyers can also be the best leads. Like, I pull cash buyers lists to dial into text because who's going to be a better lead than another investor, especially if they're absentee, which they are because they're, pretty much cash bought. One thing to kind of you can also do to filter it down even more is, when you skip trace, sometimes the LLCs are hard to skip trace anyway. So if you just want to make it simple and click individual, you get people who have their first name, last name, and those are easier to skip trace, and you'll end up with a list that's more accurate.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, so dope. So we go to propwire.com. We go to the hottest zip code and download free 10,000 people list. Next, what was the skip trace website you said?
Kind of skip tracing.
Kind skip tracing. And I'm putting this list. I'm going to put it in the chat because it's literally a few steps. If you have little to no money, this is how we're gonna get started, right? Because if you don't have leads, there's no way you're going to be able to do this business, right? So lead generation is obviously the most important part. Whether you're generating leads on the acquisition side or if you choose to generate leads on the disposition side, which we'll talk about in a few, you need to have leads in this business, right? So if you're going to acquisitions, this is how we start off, right? And kind skip tracing is the second step, where you said it was what, about $300 to skip trace 10,000 leads.
$300, yep, for 10,000.
Okay, and if you guys are brand spanking new, have no clue what skip tracing is, right? All that is once we get this list from propwire.com, we'll have the address, we'll have the seller's name, and that's about it. What we need to do is we need to now get their phone number, right? And that's how we're going to get in contact with them. So skip tracing is getting their phone number and their contact information to be able to call them, right? I've personally only skip traced about like 2 lists in my lifetime, so I'm not the best person to talk about this. I do a lot of JV. This is how we go about this. Number 3, you had a dialer as well, right?
Yeah. So GoDial is the one that you can use on your phone. $40 a year, but it's not auto. You actually have to click next, next, next. But I use Smart Dialer for my dialer. It's a little more expensive. I have VAs, so it makes sense for me. A good single line dialer that's like a flat charge. I used a Phone Burner in the past. Mojo Dialer is a good dialer. You can use, if you want another single line dialer, but you want the capability to text and do all that stuff, you can use RE Doers, which for marketing help, actually, I'm going to push you guys to RE Doers Den is going to be every Tuesday and Thursday. Again, free marketing help. And I'll put that in the chat as well. But I would use RE Doers for single line dialer, texting, whatever marketing I would need to do. And the script. That would be the last piece of the puzzle. A good script.
So it sounds like this business is just marketing and sales.
It's just marketing and sales. It's marketing and sales, and then it's sales again. It's just marketing and sales, and then it's marketing and sales again. Because you market and sell to the seller, and then you market and sell to the buyer. And it's really easy.
So I love that, right? I love that because that's exactly how pretty much I got my first deal as well, right? I got a list, started calling that list. Now, one thing about this is this isn't like you're not going to call 3 people and get a deal, right? You're going to have to call a whole lot of people. Like that whole 10,000 list, you're gonna have to go through that 10,000 list a few times, right? Maybe one time you go through that whole list, and you have to have multiple conversations with people. It takes an average of 13 conversations with one person to get a contract with them,
Yep.
right? So, and it also takes, like, if you're going to be taking the route of cold calling yourself, right? It's going to take what? It's about what, 100 people that you speak to. One is going to be a lead, and out of those, or is it like 10? Like one to 10.
Maybe 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 1 out of 50 would be
Right.
a lead. Or I don't know what you consider a lead, but for me, I consider a hand raise a lead.
Right. Well, I mean, like a hot lead, like a motivated seller.
Yeah, I mean, that's rare, but a
Yeah,
hand raise is enough because you just want people in your system, in my opinion. That's how I kind of do
sure.
things.
For sure, because it's about the follow up, right?
Yeah,
And it's going to be very
100%.
rare to get a deal on your very first call, right? So in these 90 days, it's important for you to build your pipeline. So that way that's where you're going to get the deals, right? You're going to get the deals from your pipeline. We just locked up a deal last week that was in our system for over a year. Right?
Exactly. That's
And
why you want to get all the hand raises. Like people who overqualify their leads before they put them in the CRM are just throwing money down the drain because
yep,
that's money. Those people, if someone even says, maybe, well, what's your offer? Like that's somebody you put in the system and you keep
for
you
sure.
keep calling.
For sure, without a doubt. So shout out to Rudy Silva. So I know a lot of people just jumped in here. If you guys missed it, what we're doing these next 90 days is we're helping people get 90 deals in wholesaling, 90 wholesale deals these next 90 days, right? So today we're just talking about what we would do to get our first deal. We had little to no money, or maybe, and we're even going to talk about what you would do if you have money, right? So there's a bunch of different ways that you can go about it. I would say honestly, the first thing that you need to do is ask yourself, what do you want to do, right? Because one thing that one of my mentors always talks about is one of the hardest things in real estate is that there's so many different ways to make money, right? You can be a dispo wholesaler, you can be an acquisitions wholesaler, you can be a transaction coordinator, you can do so much in this business to make money, right? Now the toughest part is just picking one and focusing, right? So another thing that you can do if you have little to no money to get deals, right? We talked about the acquisition side is sales and marketing. Tadi kind of talked about a little bit. The dispo side is sales and marketing as well, because once you get a contract, you need to start marketing to cash buyers. People are actually going to do the flips, hold the rentals, and buy these properties, right? You need to market to them, and you need to sell them. Now you need to actually sell a deal, right? First of all, we're buying a deal. Now we're actually selling a deal to somebody trying to get the highest possible price so we can make money. So one way that you can begin in real estate is go out and find, like, maybe you can go find all the cash buyers in the area. Tony, can you find you can find cash buyers on PropWire as well, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I just did. That was a cash buyer filter.
So
Yep.
found the cash buyers, you call these cash buyers, and now next thing you do is you reach out to every single wholesaler in the market that's actually doing deals, right? And those people, once you find those people, well, once you talk to your buyers, you kind of almost get their order, right? It's like they're going to McDonald's and they give you your order. They say they want a Big Mac. You go out there and you find them a Big Mac. It's a lot harder if you're going to just get these deals without having your buyers in place at all, right? So if you're going to start fresh with no money, there's another way that you can do is, like I said, go find buyers and then go find wholesalers that have contracts. Go find these deals that these buyers want, and that way you can just bring it to them, right? And you'll still get paid. And that way you actually get paid a lot faster on these deals as well. You can get paid within like 2 weeks finding buyers and doing like the JV side of things. Tadi, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you tell me, since you said that's more of your model, what do you think, how do you think someone could go about that in a way that would be productive and wouldn't just be wasting their time trying to sell someone's deals that person just ends up selling themselves.
For sure. So there's a few different ways to go about it. But first of all, you need to be able to vet. You need to be able to underwrite these deals and comp these deals, right? So the first thing that you should do is learn how to comp a deal and identify what a deal is. So one thing that I did when I first started is I met up with a buyer. Like I sold him a deal, right? And I met up with him and found out like what exactly he wants. I found his criteria, found out what exactly he wants, and I met up with and just was just super loud about it, right? Would tell every single wholesaler, this is what I'm looking for, you know. And once I found that, I would underwrite the deal, make sure it's a good deal, because if you bring a buyer a whole bunch of shitty deals, a whole bunch of bad deals that they don't want, that's a quick way to lose a buyer. Right? It's a quick way to start getting your calls blocked and calls dropped, all that good stuff. So one thing that you can do is underwrite these deals, filter these deals first, and then bring them to buyers. Right. So there's a bunch of bunch of YouTube videos. We'll actually be comping deals live, showing you how we comp deals. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I use Privy. I don't think we can put addresses on here, but one thing that I use is Privy. Privy has MLS data. You can actually search an address on Privy, and you can find all the comparables, all the MLS data, all the properties that were all fixed up, sold, and compare your numbers to that. But honestly, when I first started, I did a JV model, but it was more on the acquisition side, right? So I tell people all the time, go learn a skill, right? Get into the Dog Pound Discord. I'm about to drop the link in here right now, and get better at sales, right? Get better at talking to people, because once you learn how to sell, you really don't need money ever to generate leads, right? Because sales is just a conversation. With every conversation that you have is a sales conversation, right? So if you can find and convince other wholesalers to bring you leads, you never need to spend money to generate leads, right? Because other people are generating leads. So if you can get somebody to just bring you leads, and you are good enough to close the deals when those leads come in, then you're able to make your money that way as well, right? So JV model is big if you have no money, but what that comes with is it takes a lot of reps, and you have to get really, really good at one thing, right? Whether it's selling deals or closing sellers, you need to get really good and locked in and focused, right? So I just dropped the link to the Discord, where we do role plays every single day, Monday through Sunday. In there, you can get the sales system that I created, and my team follows, and everything, and just get better at sales, right? That's where I would personally start off. It would be that way, just getting really good at sales, and then getting other people who generate leads to bring me leads and close their deals for them. Because you'd be surprised how many people generate leads and don't do anything with them. I love it. So again, we will have a link for you guys as well. Like when you guys have deals, you need us to underwrite deals, you need us to comp deals, we'll do that for you live. We will have a link to drop. We'll drop that tonight. We'll get that fixed and drop that tonight. But for now, if you guys have immediate issues, if you have immediate questions, don't hesitate to drop your questions in the chat, because that's why we're here. We're here to help. We're here to help you guys solve these problems that we're dealing with every single day with these sellers.
I'm gonna send. I don't know if I can send you the link, but I'm gonna send you the link and see if this is gonna work, because there's some JV deals that just got submitted today. I can't send you it, can I? Oh yeah, I can. Private chat. So look at this one. That one goes straight to the dispo thing. That one still works. So
okay, great. So we'll drop this one in here.
Yeah, that'll work.
Boom. So if you guys have any deals that you want us to look at, these are deals that are, well, they don't even need to be under contract, right? We can look at them, we can comp them, and point you guys in the right direction. We prefer them to be under contract, right? So we can move them for you and find buyers for you. But if you guys have any questions about any deals, if you want them to be looked at by us and by our team, drop them on this link, answer the questions to the best of your ability, fill out every slot so we can have the best opportunity to move these deals for you.
So do you feel like the lead gen strategy that you were talking about, where you're going to other wholesalers, you're underwriting their deals, I'll tell you what my problem with that has always been, and you can tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like you're just at the mercy of that other wholesaler. If they find their own buyer, fast or slow, or they can just kind of be like, well, I just want to see if I can sell it myself first. And like you said, yeah, there's going to be some people who just aren't going to put that footwork in and get the deal sold. But
Mhm.
how many wholesalers do you think you would need to talk to? Same way as like, I got to talk to this many sellers before I get a deal. You think there's like, talk to this many wholesalers and you probably be able to um to do a deal.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. I think it's just like the same thing with acquisitions. This whole business is a numbers game, right? Most things in life is just a numbers game, right? So if you have a few people, you have two wholesalers that you're just dependent on sending you deals all the time. If one of them decides they just want to go off and sell their own deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a problem, right? You're going to have less lead flow, right? So if you keep your pipeline full and you have, say you have 100 wholesalers that you're reaching out to every single day, your chances of you getting multiple deals, you getting deals from them is going to be way higher than you having less, right? Same with leads. If you're talking on the acquisition side, if you're only talking to 5-10 people a day, or not even if you're talking to 5-10 people a week, right, and the next person is talking to 10-20 people a day, right, who do you think is going to have more of a chance to close more deals? But what you're saying is exactly right though. You're not in control, right? The JV model is you're not in control. You're depending on somebody else's marketing. You're depending on somebody else bringing you deals. Now the only way that you can control that is just flooding yourself with multiple wholesalers and just absorbing yourself with them. So it's like you have an abundance of them. There's a bunch of wholesalers out there.
Oh, there is. Yeah, like okay, so let's talk about it. I had a deal that I wanted to JV because I know I have a buyer in Atlanta, and I spent the last couple of days, I sent the buyer there and we talked about it and everything was all good and he said we could JV it. And then today, um he was just like, "Yeah, actually we're just going to keep it." Then I just felt really discouraged. Like, dang, I just did a lot of work. But I know when I talk to a seller and they say, "Yeah, I'm going to sell," and they sign, like I'm good, I can just sell it. That's kind of been my whole way of thinking. But I do a lot of JVs, like a
Yeah,
lot of JVs, because people just come to me and they're like, "Hey, help me with this deal." But I know everybody's not on Instagram talking to wholesalers all day either.
for
So
sure.
where would they even find all these wholesalers to do these
Sure.
deals with?
For sure. Now, and I do have to say, Toddy, on the other hand, too, right? Just because a seller signs your contract doesn't mean they'll go through
For
and do the
sure.
deal with
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Right? It's the same.
Definitely.
It's the same thing. Just like when if they want, they can decide, hey, I want to keep this. Right? We actually, one of my students just dealt with that today. He locked up a deal and he sold it. He assigned it to a buyer, and the seller told him today that she wants to back out because she had another offer. She didn't tell him she had another offer, but most times when people want to back out, it's because they got another offer. They got a higher offer, right? So you have to watch out for that on both sides. But the way that I would find other wholesalers is these communities, right? Like there's plenty of communities on Facebook, Discord that have wholesalers every single day that are doing deals. Right. We were just talking the other day, and I showed you like just in the dog pound Discord alone, and there's not even there's 600 people in there, right? And there's groups with plenty more people than that, right? And that Discord is live, jumping every single day. There's people in there talking to each other, helping each other out, solving problems for each other, and that's where it's at, right? If you go, like when I first started, I went on Facebook. I didn't know nothing about nothing, but I just went on the Facebook search and said Baltimore investors, Baltimore real estate investors, and I found a page with over 100,000 people, 100,000 members. There's going to be a couple wholesalers in there for sure, right? So if I were you, and I had no money, I would join every single real estate investor RIA group in my area, right? Or not even just got to be in your area, in a virtual market as well, because you can do this virtually. We do this
For
business
sure.
virtually every single day. What are some ways that you find some wholesalers? Is that kind of the only way, or are there other ways to do that?
Also in probably like when they post a deal in Facebook groups and I see a deal that I think looks good, or I just see someone who posts a lot of deals because I'm buying too, so I might just be talking to them maybe to buy, and I see that as that's how I started talking to this guy. I see that as a good avenue to like, okay, I want to buy this deal, but then if their numbers don't really make sense and I do have buyers anyway, that's when I kind of try to JV with them in that way as well. But more often than not, it's like this, like I'm doing a live and someone's just like, hey, I need help with this deal. And then once I start helping them, it turns out to be much more of a complicated deal than they thought. So then we just JV it so I can help guide them through the craziness of the deal, like that, like that pre-foreclosure, pre-probate crazy deal that's going on right now. Like it'll just kind of be like that. So I do see what you're saying, and I do see how if I focused on it as a strategy, it would really be worthwhile. And I really like that idea. I
You
really
know,
like that idea. Just being really, I would, the way, like, now that you're saying that and I'm thinking about it, I would say the way I would want to do it is I would want to try to like make relationships and friendships with just a few people. And then as they're getting a few people who do a lot of deals, as they're getting deals, maybe they'll have one that they can't really focus on. And maybe that'll be the one that I can sell for them. Because I know, like me, if I have 8 deals going on, one of them is not getting as much attention. Probably 4 of them are not getting as much attention as the other 4, especially if you don't have a team. So I do see that I could help a lot of people and make a lot of money doing that too. And honestly, I think that's a big thing I haven't even really tapped into because I've just been so all about marketing. So I like that perspective. Sassy Girl said, "Can you talk about the dialer?" So, if you don't know what a dialer is, there's different types of dialers. A dialer system is basically like, I don't know if you guys ever worked in a call center or something like that, but I used to work in a call center called Telus where we help people with their Google Fi phones and like do tech support. So basically, like when you sit in a call center, you sit there with the headset or whatever, and you're just sitting there and a call will come in, right? And you'll answer and you'll talk to the person. That's called an auto dialer. It's just automatically ringing. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to touch anything. The way we're doing it though is not inbound like that. We're doing it outbound. So we put a list into a auto dialer or a single line dialer, which means you're only calling with one line. It's calling one person at a time. Or a multi-line dialer means it's calling multiple people at the same time. And when someone answers, your phone connects. So there's really big difference, and it can make a big difference. If you're on a single line dialer, the good thing about that is when you're calling someone one at a time, the phone's actually ringing. They pick it up. It's like an authentic phone call. And I think that works out very well when you don't have a lot of experience. The call quality is just better because when they say hello, you say hello, and you just start talking. A multi-line dialer, because it's calling multiple people at the same time, once in a while, 2 people will answer at the same time. It's going to drop one of them. And that's called an abandon. The more abandons that your phone number has, the faster you get flagged. So you could call like for an hour and then suddenly be flagged and not talk to anyone all day because you got flagged. It's really important to know that. And guys, we are going to talk about all of this in the Doers Den. So if you guys go on YouTube and you follow Ari Doers tomorrow night, sorry, today's Thursday. So starting next Tuesday, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to do this exact same thing, but just about marketing. So we're going to talk about dialer, SMS, all of that stuff. But just for the sake of now, if you guys use a multi-line dialer, your call quality is not going to be as good, but you're going to talk to a lot more people. So just make sure you have enough phone numbers for the amount of people that you're calling. CallRail, I do not like. CallRail doesn't make sense for me, and it never did. I've tried every single dialer, so I'll tell you, if you're going to use a single line dialer, I would use Ari Doers. If you need a dialer for your cell phone because you're on the go, I would use Go Dial. And then if you guys need a good multi-line dialer, the best multi-line dialer is Smart Dialer. Smart Dialer, smartphone.io, but it's expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. If you need a more cost-efficient multi-line dialer, Mojo Dialer is okay. And I'll just leave it at that. It's okay.
you know the thing too, right? Like you have to pay to play, right? If you are serious about this business and you really want to get a deal,
Exactly.
invest in yourself, right? Like you can save $100 a month. You can make 100. I don't care what you're doing, what your situation is. You can make $100 a month, right? You can put it away and you can put it towards something that's going to help you make more money. I'm telling you, when I first started, I was hand dialing. Tadi, I had 3 notebooks when I first started, and I was skip trace, and I would call with just call with my phone, right? And then if somebody answered, I would put that on the answered like the correct phone number notebook, and then I would have a follow up notebook, right? So like people was actually motivated. And once it took me forever to get a deal at first, and then once I bought a dialer. So I got a deal in like 2 weeks because I
I
was able.
know.
I'm like, oh man, why didn't I been do this?
But the beauty of what you did is that, like, it's what they say, simple scales, fancy fails. You started off so simple, no brainer, that you're literally address by address going through this whole process, that now once you put softwares in the place of you, you can really move. But the problem is some people start with these softwares and they get so confused and caught up, and what should I do? What should I use? The cost, that, and just confuse themselves out of making money. It's not that expensive when you put it all together. If you have $500 a month to spend consistently for 6 months, you will get deals if you're also putting your time in. Because again, it's not about the money. The $500 is nothing compared to the amount of time you're going to have to put in. And there's literally people driving around writing addresses down, going on True People Search and Fast People Search, getting a free skip trace and calling and finding deals because they're putting in 10 hours a day. So there's really no excuses. But if you do have some money to spend, I would really prefer to you, like, if someone said, okay, you can spend whatever money you want on any software, I would use Smart Dialer every single time, because in over a year of using Smart Dialer, my phone numbers have not got flagged. I have some of the same phone numbers for a year ago. Like, I don't know what they're doing at Smart Dialer, but it's working. Any other software I use, I don't like batch products, Jason. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm sorry, batch, if you guys are on here, but I'm just not a fan of any batch products at all. I've used them all. There's much more cost effective, better ways that don't get flagged, that don't come out with all these updates, that don't glitch in the middle of your day. Like, for me, that's the most frustrating thing. If a system glitches in the middle of my day and I'm paying 6 cold callers hourly, like, come on, it just doesn't make sense. So there's two different things though. Do you have a team or are you alone? Because it's two different systems. If you're alone or you have one cold caller, you can get away with different things than if you have a big team. But if you have a team and you're going to take this business serious, use Smart Dialer. Like, it just makes sense. And on smartphone, I spend maybe $200-300 a week with the dialer seats plus the numbers plus the minutes, because they charge you separately for everything.
I was thinking as you were saying that, I wanted to backtrack a little bit, right? If I had, what's up, Kenya? If I had like $0, and if I had $500, right? Because we need gas, and I need to deal like right now. What I would do is I would go to PropWire and I would pull a list of pre-foreclosures, and I would go knock on those doors, right? And I would get in front of them and just solve these people's problems, right? Because
I wouldn't.
why not?
I'm not going to nobody's house. I'm sorry. It's 2023.
Not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think, like, my whole thing is I always put myself in other people's shoes. I would not like someone coming to my house. Like, I don't care if you were cool. Now, if you were really slick about it and I was just getting my mail and you were like, hey, what's up? Yeah, like, oh, wow. Like, and you just started talking to me, that's one thing. I wouldn't knock on anyone's door ever. Like, I just feel like it's intrusive. Certain people will. I worked a job where I had to knock on people's doors for freaking CenturyLink. I've worked every job. So that's, you'll hear me a lot of times say, like, I worked this job, but I worked that job for 4 days because on day number 4, someone let their dog loose on us, and I'm not doing it. Like, you're not about to play with my life. No, I'm cool. So
one thing. Go ahead.
No, I'm happy behind the computer. I'm happy on the phone, and I'm happy not going into people's houses.
For sure, me too, right? This is what we do the same thing, right? I'm on the computer, on the phones all day, right? But one thing that I learned is to never put your brain inside the seller's head, right? Like, you may feel like it's intrusive and a lot, it's doing a lot, right? But that person who's in that house, who's going through pre-foreclosure, they're going through a problem that they can't solve. And what they're doing is they're putting their head in the sand because they think that everybody that's calling their phone is a bill collector, when that's not us. We're here to help, right? So if the only way that I can get in contact with somebody is by knocking on their door and just smiling and just helping them, right? Who's to say that like, yeah, there's going to be some people who's going to be pissed off, just like with cold calling. A lot of people don't want to be cold called all day, right? But
they're on the phone. They're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, let's change this to 90 days of door knocking, Daryll Ellison. Y'all heard him say that's what he'll do, so let's make him do it. No, I'm just kidding. I like what said. He said leaving sticky notes on. That's something I would do. Like, and I've done that. I've done door hangers. I've,
Yep.
like just left a note. I feel like that's a comfortable alternative. Like, leave a note. You know, but my whole thing is right now, it's a paranoid day and age. Y'all see ring alarm videos, and I'm more of a paranoid type person. So I'm just not doing it. But there's something for everybody. Just like there's somebody for everybody, there's something for everybody. Some
For
people
sure.
need that face to face. They don't like being on the phone. They're nervous on the phone. So, girl, sassy girl, what's another option? All the other options: texting, calling, mail, all the other options. There's so many other options. I promise you, you do not have to knock on nobody's door because
And that's a good point though, too, right? Like literally everything works. Every one of these options that we
everything
talked
works.
about works, but it just takes you putting your attention and picking one and doing
Yeah,
it
picking
consistently
one.
every single day. So
And
yeah, we
that's
talked
really the answer. If you door knock all day, every day, you probably will get more deals because you're kind of like skipping the whole cold call, make an appointment, and show up. You're just showing up. So I get it. I get it. But me, virtual, my whole thing is, the path of least resistance. I like to do things that make me happy.
for sure.
I like to work in a way that I can continue to do it. I know, like, if I'm discouraged, I'm not going to continue to do it. So I think honestly, oh, and someone also asked about do not calls. I think that's an important thing to address too, real quick, before the comments get too much to find that one. Um, on do not calls, someone said, do you call do not calls? Yes or no? Um, I don't call do not calls because it's a do not call, right? But I text do not calls because it's not a do not text.
Uh,
So I'm not trying to be tricky or funny, but
that's pretty tricky. I'm not gonna lie.
but I don't call do not calls. I just feel like there literally, I know people personally that are in lawsuits right now fighting, lawsuits because people really do call the FCC. It's not just a threat. So why call someone who went out of their way to put themselves on do not call list? But you could text them if you want. I'm not a lawyer, consult an attorney, but if you want to text someone on a do not call list, you might get cussed out, or if you find someone who really needs help with their property, um you'll get somebody in a text message. And then, like, there's so many questions in these comments. I don't want to skip over people because I feel like we are missing a couple people. So real quick, let's answer Ola. What should be the rule of thumb for comping? Should it be 40% under market value? No, it should be, you should look at comps. Comp means similar bedrooms, similar bathrooms, similar square footage, if not the same. If you can get same bed, bath, square footage, year build, awesome. That's a comp. Now, the only thing you need to figure out is it an as is comp or is it an ARV comp? An ARV comp means it's fully renovated up to 2023 standards. You can move in there today. It's beautiful. It's perfect, like you would see on TV. As is, maybe it's a little worn out, but someone could probably live in it. And then there's the rehab. You find those comps, find where your property sits in those three sections. Try to find a comp that really compares. So that's a comp. Once you find a comp, you probably just need to be like at 70-80% of that, and you'll be fine.
What do you think are more important, as is comps or like retail comps?
Cash comps. So the most important thing is going to be a cash comp. So what are cash buyers, who are usually investors, paying in that area for similar properties? And it's so funny because we have that deal in Dallas. We have a deal in Dallas. Daryll knows which one. But when I clicked on cash buyers, I saw 90s and 100s and 115s and 120 even. And I felt so discouraged because the property was so distressed. I was like, maybe this one just doesn't meet my rule, but it's just a science. It's always works. It's always right. And then we got the offer for 112. So it's just what it is. Like, you can't not, if it's a comp, it's a comp. Comp means comparable. So I think a lot of people think comp means a calculation. A comp's not a calculation. A comp is just a comparable property. So you wouldn't compare a 5-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house. No, and don't do price per square foot. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's a lot of math.
Price per square foot just leaves you with a fake number. That's what realtors use, and that's why they don't sell deals, and that's why we sell the deals they can't sell. Just
Right.
kidding if you're a realtor.
No, she's not. Mm.
We love you guys. I'm just throwing shots.
Brandon Jackson says I have a ton of deal flow in Florida right now, and it's only me. Definitely need you guys and girls, bro.
Oh man, it's only you. Come on. We got a whole team of people that can help. So
For sure.
definitely do you know Brandon Jackson?
Um, I know a couple Brandon Jacksons. I know a couple Brandon Jacksons. So Brandon Jackson, hit me or Toddy over on Instagram, whichever one you're following, or
Or no, use the link.
hit the
Or
link up.
yeah, I guess you can still hit us up, but also you can put any deal you guys want to JV into Daryl's JV link, and I'll be in there helping dispo all the deals that we get. And Brandon, we can like set up a little call with you too, so that you can like understand how we do things, because you have a lot of deals versus someone just having one, throw it in the link. But if you have a lot, we can like go through them together and kind of figure stuff out.
For sure. I love that. I love that.
She said, bend the rules, but don't break them.
Facts. What else we got? We got a lot of questions in the chat. I'm loving this.
Why when one of us makes a comment, it makes like 8 comments?
Oh, so at first, we were just commenting on ourselves, but I don't think that people that are watching on your channel can see my comments if I'm just commenting from my page and vice versa. So I think
Mm,
um,
that's
so
funny. I was like, why ever? It's like one of us will post it to be like 9 of the same thing, but that's cool.
yeah,
Antoine said he's in Baltimore if we ever want to get some work done. Are you a contractor? Because we do have some deals there.
we do.
And
Um,
yeah, so like we were just saying, we're using cash comps and retail comps. So there's as is, there's ARV, and there's full gut rehab, terrible worst condition you can face. That's the 3 types of comps there's gonna be. You just kind of got to figure out where does your property fit in that ladder and act accordingly.
Shout out to Kenya, man. My boy in the Discord role playing every day. I see you in there getting better, bro. Good stuff, man. Janine says, "What should you do if you get a list from PropStream and do not call?" Oh, you called that. Yeah, I said answer that question. My bad. What else we got?
Yeah. I don't call, do not call, but try to use something that takes out the do not calls, you know? That would be
Yeah.
good.
What else we got? What else we got? Darren says, "What is your response when homeowners ask, how do you get paid when speaking to pre-foreclosures?" So good question, bro. Me personally, I always position myself as a buyer. That's because if it's a pre-foreclosure, I probably do want to buy it a lot of the times. And if they ask a question like that, I'm just gonna tell them I'm gonna buy it. But if I am gonna wholesale it, right, I would say something like my partner is going to buy it, right, and he pays me separately. Or I tell my team to just play the innocent person, that the new person, right? Even if you don't know much, like just jump out there and tell them, right? So I'll tell them, look, I'm just the guy on the phones, or I'm just the guy who generates leads. I work for a team who they actually come in and buy the properties, and if they buy yours, they'll pay me something on the side, right? Something like that. And they almost like every single time when you're just honest with them and just transparent with them, they'll they'll love it, right? They'll love it. Like Isaiah, Toddy. Isaiah when he's on the phones, he obviously sounds like a little younger, right? He's 18 years old and he's making calls all the time. And I was listening to one of his calls one day, and somebody asked him a question, and he lied, and he told him that he was going to be the one buying the house. And I'm like, bro, she doesn't believe you, right? Like you don't even sound confident, right? And then what I told him was, I said, just lean into it. Just tell him, hey, I'm actually new here. Like I'm the guy on the phones, and it's actually like I'm actually really new, so I'm just learning. But one day I will own properties myself, right? And he does that, and I've heard him do that on the phone a bunch of times, and instantly their guard just goes down, right? Because when people think that they're talking to like the boss or the final decision maker, their walls are up, right? And they don't want to give you much information. If they feel like they're about to get all this money from you, you're about to get all this money from them, their wall's going to instantly go down or go up when you're talking to them.
I I think that's a really good point, because I think one thing that stops a lot of people with this wholesaling thing is like, oh well, I don't want to lie or I don't want to be dishonest. And you don't have to lie or be dishonest to get a deal done and to help them understand. If they're asking you how do you get paid, I think you probably positioned yourself wrong to begin with.
For sure.
And if you even went down the line and said, well, I'm not going to be the buyer for you, but one of my partners will buy it. Um, I guess maybe you're saying with the pre-foreclosure, like in a scenario where the seller's not going to walk away with any money, and they're wondering, well, how are you even going to make money if I'm not even going to make money? And in that scenario, I would say, well, once we purchase it and fix it up, we make monthly income as a rental, or we might choose to flip it, or we might choose to sell it to another investor before we even do anything to it. And that's how you position yourself. I think sometimes people have a misconception on what a buyer is. If the deal can close with your name on it, you're a buyer. It doesn't mean that you have the money. I bought all my houses and I never had the money to buy them. So it's just the fact that you're getting it under contract, and what you do with that contract is just your exit strategy. You're not a wholesaler, you're not necessarily a flipper or a rental property investor until you actually make that move and do something with the house or with the contract. So I would just say, once we purchase the property, or once we actually take over the property, you can say it however you want to word it, and it's just the wording to feel comfortable. We will rent it out, make money on income, or sell it to another investor, sell it to a homeowner. Just we have multiple exit strategies.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, whether they make any money or whatever, if it's an assignment, they're going to see it on the HUD. But if you promise them $120,000 and they make $120,000, and they see something on the HUD that has your company information that you made money, they if they ask you, it's just exactly what you said. We did one of our strategies. We just sold it to one of our partners. We had too many projects going on. We had too much stuff going on. You don't even have to say that if you don't want to, but you can just say we had too much stuff going on. We just sold it to one of our partners. So it's just how you word it. And it's not lying at all, because if you were to get it under contract and just get a loan for it, it would be the same thing.
Have you
You're
ever
just
had
some
any
closing
sellers?
costs.
Have you ever had any sellers like actually get mad when they see how much you made on the HUD?
Yeah. I had this one seller, Doug, and he was just being funny about it, but I sold a bunch of his houses. So then I think on the third one, he was like, "You made $9,700 on my house." I was like, "Dude, of course I made money. I've done all your other houses too." He goes,
Yeah.
"Okay, I have another one, but this time you can only make $4,000." And I was like, "You can't tell me how much I can make because you don't know how hard I'm working." And then we literally got on a call and I had to explain to him, "Dude, I pay this person. This is what I do. I have to do this to find a buyer. You get to chill at home, and you haven't even been managing these properties." He was a super slumlord, and he knew all about wholesaling. He was just playing with me the whole time and just trying to kind of pick at me. But it's funny because I got an email the other day, and it was actually from a buyer. And they said, "Oh, we were going over the HUD. I sold this deal like a year and a half ago." But they were like, "Oh, we were going over the HUD, and we were wondering what this $9,000 we paid was."
Was
I
that
was like, "Oh,
cool?
that was the assignment fee." It was really funny though, because sometimes buyers don't even know that they're buying a deal from a wholesaler.
That's funny. You know what's crazy? So there was actually a time last year I wholesaled a deal and I made a good amount of money on it. I actually felt bad. Like I was actually having some mindset trouble, like dealing with the deal because so how it worked was the seller she asked me for like $20,000. I wanted to go see the property, and this was a Baltimore shell. The roof was caving in. I called her back from the property. I was like, "Yeah, I can give you 5K," and she was like, "Make it like 7, and we have a deal." I ended up finding a buyer. We sold it for 57,000, right? And I'm like, "Damn, I could have gave this lady more money," and I low key felt bad, but what you said, Toddy, was a really great point, right? They don't know how hard we worked to get this done, and it's we provided a service to them, right? I didn't force her to sell her house to me. All I told her was what I could pay, and it's not my fault that I found a buyer who wanted to pay more. She could have done the same exact thing, you know. So if you guys are having like, if you guys have like mindset issues about this, and you're thinking like, yo, is this wrong? Is wholesaling illegal? Is am I taking advantage of people? You're not, right? You still go to McDonald's and get a burger when you can go to Walmart and buy the ingredients to make a burger yourself, right? It's the same exact thing. We're providing a service for somebody, and you deserve to get paid for it.
So it's so funny that you say that. I'm gonna give you guys another. Don't you ever feel bad for making a bunch of money, because it was a bunch of deals that you worked really hard on, didn't make
For
anything. And I
sure.
feel like that's my payment for those other deals, because I worked very hard. And it could be, I won't say it's a 50-50, but it could be like a 60-40 on I close 60% and I lose 40%. If you're in markets like Cleveland, Baltimore, St. Louis, you know what I'm talking about. There's things that pop up once you pull the title and a lien sheet, and it's nuts. So we lose a lot of deals too, and we work really,
True.
really hard, and we pay our team every week. We pay our VAs every week. We pay our, you know what I mean? We're paying our softwares every week. We're not ever stopping. And there was a time where my marketing was like 8 grand a month. You know what I mean? So it's not anymore because I had to restructure. But in that time, like when I did that 6-figure deal, like I didn't feel bad for that at all because it was so many deals that I've worked so hard for and lost at the closing table just slipped right through my fingers. And that pain that you feel in that deal, you deserve that big deal. Like we work hard in this business, and you're like Sassy Girl said, we lead from a genuine place of helping. She was in distress. She would have never been able to sell that house. She didn't have the time. Like my first deal was an engineer. He did not have the time to even care about that property. And he sold it to me for 15 and I sold it for 29. We made almost the same amount of money. But
Yep.
I solved his problem, and I had to put together all of the pieces of the puzzle to do that. The boots on the ground, the agreements, it takes so much work. Don't ever discount the work that you do as a wholesaler. This is not easy. You got to have strategy. You got to be creative. You got to be quick. You got to be self-motivated. No one's telling you what to do. So, you deserve every penny of that 50K deal. Especially in Baltimore City, like the fact that you were able to make that happen is amazing. So, I would never feel bad. I would never feel bad about it, but I get what you're saying because sometimes you feel like, you could have gave a little more. But for me, I just like in those situations where I am going to make a big deal, I just really want to make sure the seller is good. Like I'm making them comfortable. I'm making sure that they're happy the whole time, that they don't have to do anything. Like you don't even have to lift a finger. Just sign the documents at the end of the day. Like I had a deal like that too where I was making a really big amount of money and the lady left a bunch of stuff in the house. I'm like, you know what? She kept stressing about cleaning the house out, and I just told her, go find whatever her father had passed away, whatever your father's things that you like, that you want to keep, go ahead. And I had my boots on the ground, meet her there, make sure she was safe because it was in the hood. He opened the door for her. It was a board, like things like that to just make sure she's safe, facilitate everything. Don't worry about the clean out. I paid for a clean out before we even closed. It was just things like that I know I can make it easier and better for her. And I know I'm about to make 30 grand on this deal. So I'm just going to do everything I can to make it better. That
Without a doubt.
was just me. So, when it's just you can make all the money. So it feels different.
And since you say that, like that's another great point, right? Like, because that deal was not easy to close. That deal was like the house was owned in an LLC that wasn't in good standing, right? So I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with that,
I
but
haven't even.
oh my goodness, that was one of the most different, and it was in Baltimore City. So that was one
Yeah,
of the
I already
most
know.
difficult things. I honestly, I'm not even gonna talk about it, because I may get in trouble. But I did some things that I may not have was supposed to do, but I had all consent from the seller. She was good, and we just since like when she's seen how much I made on the HUD, and she didn't
Oh, you
say
talked about that deal. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, no, you definitely
yeah,
deserve man, these deals are crazy.
for sure,
These deals are
for sure.
crazy. So
I
how do
just
you
want
both
to
work with go
go
ahead.
ahead. No,
Oh, go ahead
we asked.
before I
I was gonna wrap it up, but let's answer some more questions because we got a lot of
No, I mean,
questions.
this is on that same topic. So, how do you both work to overcome those mindset issues? So, that's a big one, like just knowing that you deserve it. But at the same time, like, I'm really big on playing like mind games with myself whenever it comes to mindset issues. So, whether it's being on a dialer and I'm getting beat up on the phone, I'm getting like, depressed on the dialer, which if anyone's been on the dialer, you know what I'm talking about. I'll just tell myself, okay, I can't wait till I get cussed out. The next cuss out is going to be the person right before my next deal. And that would make me be on the dialer excited, waiting for someone to cuss me out. That way I can just sit there through all the BS. The dialer is a crazy place to be because you might sit on there for 6 hours, but you might hit that one deal that turns out to be a 40, 50K deal. And that's why I love it, because it's the path of least resistance, because literally you're able to blow through thousands of people a week. There's no way you could door knock thousands of people a week. There's no way you could drive for dollars thousands of people a week. The only way you can do it is texting and calling. Is the only way you can do that guerrilla marketing. So it's just a mindset thing of psyching yourself out so you believe that whatever's going to happen is actually going to happen. putting things on your wall as you work really helps me. Having visuals, having like your vision board on your phone screen or your lock screen, having a vision board at all, things like that, just to make you push through that mindset, and knowing that what you're doing is a service. You're serving people. For example, we do a lot of JVs, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
doing this right now for free. We help a lot of people all the time for free. If I do a JV deal and it turns out to be a 100K JV deal and I make 50K, you think I'm going to feel bad? Like, no, I give and I give and I give. And the good Lord let me receive it as well. So just tell yourself and just keep giving, just keep being a good person.
Without a doubt. I think one thing for me, and that 1,000% what you said, Toddy. One thing for me when I was like on the phones heavy, we're still on the phones heavy. One thing that I like to do is when you're sitting in a room, like just within four walls all day, I feel like it's really easy to go crazy. So one thing that I make sure that I do is I set timers. So like one thing that we do is I use a Pomodoro timer, and I'll work for 30, 45 minutes straight, like deep work. Like my phone is on do not disturb. Nobody calls me. Nobody can get in contact with me. Right. And then I'll go 10 minutes of I'll just go outside and just go on a walk. I'll even leave my phone inside. Right. And I'll just get the sunlight and I just feel rejuvenated.
For
Right.
sure.
Doing some things to take your mind off of getting beat up on the phones all day will definitely help you. And I used to do the same thing. I used to have that. I used to trick myself. I used to say, okay, if I'm getting cussed out, that means I'm that much closer to getting the deal, right? You just have to play mind games with yourself and take your mind off of what you're doing. Take your mind off the problem and remind yourself that you're actually solving people's problems, right? You're doing this to help another human being, right? I've never done a deal where I didn't help somebody, where somebody's
Yeah.
problem wasn't solved. You know,
It's funny that you say that. It's really funny that you say that because I need to do that more often. I'm like very much the type that I just get caught in this vortex of work and I look up and 9 hours pass. I didn't even drink water and I'm like, oh my God, it's
yeah,
2:45 p.m. I've been on this computer since 6 a.m. and it's like it happens, but I think that's a testament of how fun this business can be too, because sometimes you're just so lost in the I
yeah,
gotta do, and then but when you're living with, honestly, when you're in that flow of like you're going to sleep thinking about addresses, like you're making money. You're getting at that point, you're getting money. So just keep on that. Like it's not a bad
sure,
thing. Yes, this business can be exhausting and it can be, really take up a lot of your brain space, but it's worth it. What else can you do that you can make 100 grand in a month? Like tell me
right.
some of those businesses and we'll do that too, because this is a very rare unique business opportunity that you guys have all been lucky enough to stumble upon, believe it or not. um I know everybody makes it seem like whatever they make it seem on the internet, but like this can change thousands of lives if you put the action. And I really like this comment. So it's a lot of people watching. I think there's probably like 50 people watching, but
Yeah,
whatever platform you're watching on, from whoever's account you're watching on, you can only see the amount of people that are watching. So you probably see 10 on my Facebook, 20 on my YouTube, 20 on Daryl's YouTube, so you're just you're not going to see them all, but we're going to get a different streaming platform where you can see everyone's comments, because we're getting comments from everywhere. I can't even see all the comments you can see, Daryl,
really.
because you're putting up comments that I don't even have in my thing. So
Oh wow.
we'll we'll figure it out. But this is life changing. The information, like even if you guys just watch the past 45 minutes that we've been talking, we literally gave you a playbook, and if you run that play, you will make multiple six figures this year, and then more the next year, maybe millions the next year, and just keep going.
I
And we
want
do have some really good questions that are really specific.
some really good questions. It sucks that we have an hour blocked off because I want to answer all these questions, like because I
We can
see it.
go for like another 10 minutes though. It's okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Jason says, can you talk about your VA structure, like how many VAs you have and what role they play? So right now, we have so I was running a strictly we were running a strictly JV model, strictly JV acquisitions model for a very long time, where we weren't cold calling, we weren't doing direct outsource. So Toddy could talk about like the cold calling side of things, but as far as like the acquisition side, we have three VAs that are cold calling. Well, not cold calling, that are lead managers, and they're calling warm leads, cold leads, hot leads, anybody who raised their hand and was sent up from the cold caller, right? So they're calling all day, all day, all day. They're just calling leads and calling leads and calling leads, and they're pushing these people who are motivated and hot they're pushing them up to our closers, and our closers are all Americans. But as far as like the lead managers, they are all virtual assistants. Yeah, we run a pretty light team as far as like the acquisition side. What do you like to do on the cold call side of
And
things?
then, like, as far as acquisitions, typically there would be 2 cold callers per closer. So with the 3 closers, there'll be 6 cold callers, and then each cold caller will get 1,000 fresh leads per caller per week. Um, it's easier to do it by 10,000 because of what we talked about earlier. Just skip tracing by the 10,000 is cheaper. So 10,000 per caller per month is another way that you could do it, but those will roll over. You want to hit every list at least 6 times. And then on the dispo side, having a good dispositions manager doesn't really matter if they're American or not, but someone who can really work, because dispos work. It's not, it's you're really pounding out phones, you're fielding offers, you're negotiating just as much as you are, if not more than with sellers, because buyers are very savvy and they're going to negotiate with you. But dispo, you can have, well, we have one dispo cold caller right now, but
Yep.
hiring another one. So it'll be 2 dispo cold callers, 2 dispo lead managers, and then me just running the dispo team, also talking to buyers, negotiating, making offers. But eventually there'll be one head dispo person as well. So kind of slowly working ourselves out of each position, but there definitely needs to be dispo cold callers, because you want to be cold calling cash buyers in your markets, building up your buyers list at all times, and then cold callers 2 per closer.
I love that. I love that. So, Case, sorry if I said your name wrong, brother, says, can you please explain your workflow, how it looks like from the lead, getting into the CRM till the end? Also, how do you deal with following up as well? So as far as how it works with us, when a lead gets submitted into the CRM, we treat it we treat every lead, whether it's a JV lead, cold call lead, we treat it like it's a brand new lead, right? The lead manager reaches out. They say, "Hey, you spoke with somebody on our team about this property on Main Street. Just wanted to call, confirm some of these notes that I have, ask you a few questions of my own, see if we're a good fit." Right? And they they
Sorry.
but their job is to filter. Their job is to now filter, and I look at them as like a filtration system, and they see who's a hot lead, who's a warm lead, who's a cold lead. Right? If it's a hot lead, the number one priority is to get them on the phone with the closer as fast as possible. Right? So as fast as possible, that means live transfer. Right? Your first option is to live transfer every single time to somebody that's super hot. We can lock them up right now. We don't want to spend any time with them not being on the phone. If we have them on the phone, we're going to do a live transfer, right? If they can't do a live transfer, we'll schedule a call for that same day or the next day, right? But we want to keep that within 48 hours for our hot leads. And we'll talk about how to distinguish hot lead, warm lead, cold lead, and other episodes. That's what we'll call these shows and episodes. But we'll distinguish that, right? So a warm lead as well. We want to talk to a warm lead pretty soon too. That needs to be scheduled within a week, right? And we're going to continue to follow up. And then a cold lead, we're going to, with the cold lead, whenever they say follow up with them, we want to cut it in half, right? So if our cold lead says they want a follow up in a year, we're going to call them in 6 months. If they say they want to follow up in 3 months, we're going to call them up in a month and a half, right? So we always want to cut that in half and continue to follow up. So we're going to send we're also going to send drip campaigns to those long-term follows, people who don't want to sell right now, and just simply automate that, right? But the name of the game is calling, like these hot leads. They should not go a day without being called, right? They should be called every single day, and our team's expected to close hot leads within 7 days, right? Because they are so hot. And I tell them this, you're expected to close them within 7 days, because if they need to sell this property within 30 days, if we don't buy it, somebody else will, right? So it's your job to take them through the sales system, continue to follow up with them, find out what their problem is, what they're looking to accomplish, and solve their problem. Let me see if I answered that whole question.
That was a good answer.
Thank you.
That was a really good answer. I like that Kenya said your time is worth at least $1,000 an hour too. That was nice.
Facts. The main thing I want to hit home on that though is the life of a lead, right? These leads, you should continue to follow up on these leads until this property is sold. And even if it's sold, you need to figure out if they have other properties that they would ever continue to sell. And if they don't, then you can push that as a dead lead. But you want to continue to follow up, even if the seller dies, like whatever, right? You continue to follow up with these leads because they're going to sell one day. One day they're going to sell. So continue to follow up. Continue to follow up.
This is a good question. I want to push you guys, since we don't have a lot of time left for tonight. I just commented for you guys to follow the RE Doers YouTube channel for all marketing questions. So we are talking about deals, sales, helping getting deals done. We want to help you guys comp. When it comes to SMS, dialer, RVM, my partner TJ at RE Doers is literally going to be doing this exact same thing, free YouTube lives, helping you guys deeply dive into marketing, text message marketing, RVMs. We have PPC available. The data is on there, dialer, like literally everything, scrubbing your lists, how to organize your lists, how to stack your lists, like everything that has to do with data and lead gen. Follow the RE Doers YouTube Tuesdays and Thursdays at night. He's going to be going live, deep diving into all of that. So I want to save all the marketing stuff for RE Doers because that's what we do over there. But me and Daryl, we really want to help you guys get deals done as far as like in the thick of the deal. So if you're talking to a seller and you're like, dude, what do I say next? Or what do I do this? Or if you locked a deal up and you can't sell it, maybe you got it locked up too high. Maybe you're not looking for the buyers in the right places. Like we know how to assess the situation and solve the problem because that's what we've been doing for years. So please, marketing on doers. Here, though, every single night, Monday through Friday, let's get these deals done. If you guys want us to look at a deal tonight or tomorrow before we hop on again tomorrow night, please use that link that we're posting in the comments. Put it in there. Your name, your number, everything goes in there so we can actually reach out to you, talk about the deal, figure out what's going on in that deal and how we can help you actually get it done. But I'm super grateful for this. Daryl, thank you for taking the time out of your busy life.
One more question, Tadi.
Yeah.
I love this question so much.
Okay.
Says, when's the best time to cold call?
10 a.m. to 8 p.m., whatever time zone you're calling in.
You know what my answer is?
When people are awake?
Anytime the phone works. Just call.
That's actually illegal, so don't listen to Daryl because the phone definitely works at 9 p.m. and that's you can't do that.
Look,
you can really legally only call from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But I just no one's awake at 8 a.m. Like I'm not doing that. Really, the best time to call is like that little pocket once people get off work, 4 p.m. I got to take this call.
You're good. So it's really like 4 p.m. like on Thursdays is like the number one time to make calls. Like that's the number one day that like most deals get done is Thursdays at like 4 o'clock Eastern time. So yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap this up for today. This is just day 1 of 90, where our main intention on this, our main goal is to help 90 people get a deal, get a wholesale deal. If you've done a deal, if you haven't done a deal, we're here to help, right? So today was a lot of just education. We gave you that game plan on what to do if you have little to no money and all the different avenues. And the moral of the story is it all works. You just need to be focused and consistent, right? So continue to join these lives. Continue to ask questions, bring us deals. If you have any deals that you want us to take a look at, hit this link, save this link, bookmark it, and we will reach out to you, giving you feedback on this deal. If we can move it, we'll let you know, and let's get everybody paid, man. Tadi, do you have anything else to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, man. This was amazing. Sorry, guys. That was my mom. She's got my baby. I'm like, why are you calling me 30 times? But all's good. I don't have nothing else to say, but if you guys are really serious and you really need help and your bottleneck is not being able to afford mentorship and you're not taking advantage of this every single night, free, basically mentorship, you're crazy. Be here tomorrow. The dog pound is in the comments. Ari Doers is in the comments. I didn't drop my course. You guys follow me on Instagram. You can get it through there. I don't really plug it. People come and they come. Like, it's not really something I got to sell, but I just want you guys to get free resources right now. That's the whole point of this. Join the Dogtown Discord. It's free. Go to the Ari Doers YouTube. It's free. Come on this every night. It's free. And get the game that you guys need to succeed. We're here for you. We want to help you. We're really, really excited about this. Like, when we were talking about this, we got very, very excited. So we want to help you. We want to feel that that same feeling when this guy ran up to Daryll and was like, "Oh my God, dude, you helped me do my first 5 deals just from watching your YouTube videos." And it was awesome. It was like, that's the feeling that's the whole reason we do this. So hit us up. My IG is right there, Tadi Virtual, if you don't follow me. DM me. See you guys tomorrow night. That's it.
Sure. And you guys, if you guys had any value from today, make sure you click the like, right? Like this video and subscribe both to me and Tadi's channels, because that's how we boost the algorithm. That's how you get reminded that we are going to be going live every single day these next 90 days, and you don't want to miss it. Trust me. I'll catch y'all tomorrow at the same time. We out of here.